Math for today, week number 5. The first question or the first problem says 66,859 subtract 34,437. So if you write those one on top of the other and make sure you line up each place, 9 minus 7 equals 2. 5 minus 3 equals 2. 8 minus 4 equals 4. 6 minus 4 equals 2, and 6 minus 3 equals 3. So 32,422. We can check ourselves by adding the number we subtracted and the answer we have, and we should get the total that we started with. Seven plus 2 is 9. 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 plus 2 equals 6. And 3 plus 3 equals 6. 66,859. Write a greater than, less than, or equal to sign to make the statement true. With this shape, there are 1 out of 4 parts shaded in, which is 1/4. In this shape, there are 3 out of 4 parts shaded in, which is 3/4. When you compare 1/4 and 3/4, you can look at the picture or the fractions. 3/4 is larger. Write the related multiplication facts. 32 divided by 4. So what would you say you can multiply times 4 to get to 32? So it's like thinking of this backwards. Something times 4 equals 32. 4 times something equals 32. That number is 8. For 20 divided by 5, ask yourself 5 times what equals 20? That number is 4. 24 divided by 6. 6 times something equals 24. That number is 4. Determine the 18th shape in the pattern. If this is shape or term 1, 2, and 3, what we can do is think if our first 3 are a triangle, a square, and a circle, that same pattern is going to repeat over and over again. So we've got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth term. So if this is our first, second, third term, fourth, fifth, sixth, then the next would be the 7th, the 8th, and then the 9th would be here on the end. 10th, 11th, 12th. Notice that we are going 3, 6, 9, 12. Do you recognize that pattern? It's counting by 3s because there's 3 in each row. So what would be after the 12th one? Next would be 15th, and finally would be 18th, and that's the one that we are looking for, the 18th shape. If this pattern were to repeat each time, triangle, square, circle, triangle, square, circle, every first term in this column would be a triangle, the middle would be a square each time, and the last shape would be a circle each time, which means the 18th term would be, or the 18th shape would be a circle. $43,273 plus 10,586. We can stack those up and add those together. Make sure you line up each place correctly. 3 plus 6 equals 9. 7 plus 8 equals 15. That tens will go over to the hundreds column. 1 plus 2 equals 3, and 3 plus 5 equals 8. 3 plus 0 equals 3, and 4 plus 1 equals 5. 53,859. If you look at each of these shapes, they're both split into 6 parts. 1, 2, 3 on top, 4, 5, 6 on the bottom. So 3 on top, 3 on bottom. That means your denominator is 6 because your denominator represents how many parts the whole is broken into or split apart into. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 in this shape, this would be 7 sixths, 8 sixths, 9 sixths, 10 sixths, 11 sixths, and 12 sixths. So this shows 12 sixths, but we can see that it's equal to 2 wholes. Irene found 11 starfish. Each starfish had 5 arms. How many arms did the starfish have in all? That in all a lot of times makes us think we need to add. And we could add for this one. We could add the 5 arms 11 times. But if you listen to those words, I'm saying 5 11 times. And that tells me that's a multiplication equation. 5 arms 11 times. And 5 times 11 equals 55. Next says 900,000 divided by 90,000. So if you think back to one of our earlier videos, we were reminded of that shortcut we discovered where when you multiply a number times 10, you're taking that number, let's say 4 times 10 for example, that equals 40. So you're taking the number that you started with, and we discovered that shortcut of just adding that 0. You can apply that to this equation. So if you look at 900,000, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Where in 90,000, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So that just means that 900,000 has one more zero than 90,000 does. And if you rewrite this division equation into a multiplication equation, remember how you can do it backwards and it would be something times 90,000 equals 900,000. So something times 90,000 equals 900,000. That means that we need to have something that you can multiply times 90,000 to just really add that one more zero on there or make it greater. And as we know, the number 10 will do that because 900,000 is 10 times greater than 90,000. So the answer here is 10. Write the number in standard form. So we've got 700,000 and 10,000, 3,923. Even though in this one it may not overlap, I still like to always add these numbers together and line them up because sometimes there will be 2 numbers in the same place. And what I mean by that is, so for this one it says 10,000. Sometimes there may be something that says 20,000 and that would put a number in the same place, in that 10,000's place. I don't think this one does that, but just to be careful, let's stack each number up and then add them together. So we've got 713,923. Okay, 32 divided by 8. What times 8 equals 32? 4. 18 divided by 3. What times 3 equals 18? 6. 5 times 3 equals 15. Something divided by 3 equals 5. Remember, we can work backwards here. So 5 times 3 equals 15. 20 divided by something equals 4. Again, we can work backwards here. 4 times something equals 20. And 6 times 4 equals 24. Round 567,433 to the nearest 100,000. So our number is 567,433. And we're rounding to the nearest 100,000. So if we're rounding down, this would be 500,000. And then if we go up to the next 100,000, if we're at 500,000, the next would be 600,000. And the middle point would be 550,000. Our number, 567,433, is in between 550,000 and 600,000 because it is greater than 550,000, but it's still less than 600,000. So it would be on this end of the number line, which means it's closer to 600,000, and it would round up to 600,000. Write a greater than, less than, or equal to symbol to make the statement true. 2,414 and 2,419. So that 2,400 part we can't really use, but this 14 and 19 part we can. 19 is larger, which means 2,419 is greater than 2,414, or you could say 2,414 is less than 2,419. Now with this equation, it's kind of like the same way you would do if you were adding three numbers. So you would multiply the first two, have that answer in your head, and then multiply that answer by the last one. So it looks like this. 5 times 2 equals 10. 10 times 1 equals 10. Divide this square into eighths. Label each eighth with an appropriate fraction. So let's first start by dividing it into half and then half again. And that creates our fourths. Now we need eighths, which means we need to split each of these in half. So if we split those in half and these in half, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. And then we're supposed to label each one. I know it may be difficult, but we would label 1/8, 1/8, and each part represents 1/8, or 1 out of 8 parts of the whole. So we've got 4 on this side and 4 on that side, which would give us a total of 8. List the factors of 44. So remember, the factors are the numbers that you can multiply together to get 44 as your answer or your product. The most obvious one to start with is 1 times the number itself. Now, there's one other way we can multiply and get 44 as the product, and that is with 4 times 11. Now remember, a prime number would only have 1 and itself as its factors. That's the only way that you could get the answer or the prime number, if there's only 2 factors, 1 and itself. However, 44 has 1, itself, 4, and 11, which means it has more than just those 2 factors. And if it has more than just those 2, that makes it a composite number.